Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Let's get into our Friday stock watch list. Looking at a few stocks today. First off, definitely have to talk about the SPY. We've been dropping for almost 4 days now. You can see that we peaked at that 454 and we've been basically on a downtrend ever since. And it looks like this 450, this 448 area is actually acting as some type of support. If we jump from our 180 day to our 20 day, you can see that we basically were sinking down even after hours towards that 448 area. And actually that area has now acted as support, and it's kind of looking like a double bottom pattern over here. So this area may be that support that we needed to bring the stock market back up. One thing I do not like about this position for a possible long position, because we could always enter at the break of 451.22, but the SMA is sitting right here at 451.97, which is rejected multiple times over here. You see it rejected it on the 9th over here. This is the date and time for those of you who are new. And then it rejected it on the 8th over here as well. And it rejected it on the 7th. So one thing that is different, if we jump over towards the 180 day chart, the 180 day has basically been bearish that whole time underneath our trade line. So definitely want to wait and see if we actually start to break above that 451.30 and start to hold that area. As you can see that we had previous breakouts from here before, and we basically couldn't break that area before. So we want to see if it breaks it today and holds, and we could possibly confirm that, hey, this is the uptrend that we're looking for. If not, a break of 450 down towards a retest for 448 one more time. A few stocks on the watch list, keeping it kind of short compared to yesterday's video. Tesla, right? So we're watching Tesla. Tesla's basically been doing a great job of holding over here at these price points at that 760, 750 range, just basically going sideways. So that is some type of strength. Even though it hasn't really broke that level yet, I'm looking for a break of 765. I think once we break that level, we could start pushing up towards the 780s. There's a nice little gap up towards that area. So I want to see if we find some type of strength. If it continues like this, no doubt, I think the stock may pull back from that 753 down towards 740. But this is starting to look like an ascending triangle pattern where we have a common resistance over here, and we're basically making higher lows. So keep an eye on Tesla. Make sure you set your alerts for that one. Tesla does like to move big, especially where it seems like it's trying to work its way back up towards its previous high. So, and they have a news for a possible new vehicle coming out. So keep an eye on Tesla. Gamestop. So definitely we spoke about this yesterday for a possible reversal, right? Basically had poor earnings, and I said, hey, this may be a good dip buying opportunity. It went from 178 to the highs of 200 yesterday, and we're floating around 200 right now. We have a resistance at 200, which has been support before in the past, last month on the 26th and even further. But I think once we break 200, I think we can start pushing up towards like 216 areas. You can see that 216 area has been a previous resistance before. If not, and we start to come back down, I'm looking for a break of that 193, and I think we could come down and test the SMA at 178. Next one I want to talk about is, let's talk about the next meme stock is AMC. So AMC still struggling with that $50 level. I think a lot of traders are waiting for that $50 level to be broken before it can start pushing up towards 52 and maybe even higher. If not, a break of 47, then we could start retesting that 46, maybe even getting down towards 41. So watch out for that. But overall, it does look like it's making higher lows. So definitely want to keep that in mind and keep AMC in watch. You can see I already have my alert set for that break of that high. Next one I want to talk about is Mrna, right? Mrna, right? So yesterday, Biden basically had a big press conference saying, and a lot of people were saying that, hey, this was the reason for the possible major pullback yesterday. But there's going to be like a slowdown in the market. And also, he's also saying that it's going to be mandatory for federal workers to basically get the COVID vaccine. And then he's trying to make more mandatory vaccinations for any workplace with more than 100 employees. So that's basically one of the reasons that they're saying the market had that major pullback yesterday. Let's jump back over to the SPY. If we look at on the 5-minute, we have that massive red candle going in yesterday, going basically dropping from that 450 down towards that 448 when he was speaking. So definitely want to keep that in mind. But no doubt the market has shaken off worse stuff before. So let's see what happens. But let's jump back into Moderna, right? So the reason I brought the market up is because if there's going to be mandatory vaccinations, I think a lot of people are going to start jumping into these vaccine stocks, Pfizer, Moderna. And we've seen a nice little push off of Moderna yesterday because of that news as well. We could see that basically we broke that 450 range, which was a previous support. If we jump down towards a smaller chart, maybe towards like the 5-minute, we're basically holding that 450 range, basically going flat at 450 over here. And I was definitely watching it, and I signaling for the chat room as well to watch for a possible break of 450, because we have a massive run up from the bell. The stock ran up from 429 towards 450, especially since Biden was pretty much talking all throughout the day. So definitely want to watch to see if it continues, because we ran up from like 427 towards 440, 463 after hours. So I want to see a break of 463 today to see if we get that continuation, see if we get that follow-up. For those of you who are into patterns, this looks like a gap fill pattern, right? Where we're trading at a higher price. We had a common resistance at that 424, and we're basically starting to break and hold above that 424, push up towards those 460s. I wouldn't be shocked if this actually gaps up towards 498, maybe even hit that $500 level one time. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Today is Friday. Friday typically has lower volume, so definitely watch for the break of 464 towards those 470s, 480s. If it does start to pull back, probably want to look for a downtrend on the break of 455. Then we can start getting down towards those 440, 447 levels. Yeah, 447 over here, because the stock is a little bit on the overbought side. It's been running, so you definitely want to be cautious with this one. Preferably if you're getting in those long positions, do set a stop loss. That's pretty much it. I think I want to talk about Lulu. We talked about Lulu yesterday. I said watch out for Lulu. It just had earnings. And typically when people have when stocks have earnings, they do suffer from a slight pullback from people taking gains. So still a little bit more on the overbought side over here. The stock ran up from the low 300, 377 to the high 436. That is a massive jump. One thing we want to see is if it starts to hold support over here at this 420. You can see 420 is seeming to be a good support for this stock. So we want to see if it holds above 420, maybe even get back towards that 436, start pushing up higher. If not, 420, and then we can start dropping down towards 414. Another stock that had earnings yesterday that had a massive jump, Affirm. So this is another one that basically has been running as well pre-earnings, and they had a nice earnings beat as well. So they've been running pre-earnings from like $70 all the way up towards 114 over here. 114 is acting as some type of resistance right now. I wouldn't be shocked if we do see some type of pullback going into the bell, especially people taking in profits after earnings. But this is also going to be one to watch, right? They beat earnings. So typically after earnings, you do get those upgrades and downgrades. So definitely want to set your alerts, watch to see what happens with this one. I think if we do start to pull back today, watch for the break of 107, right? 107, you can see this candle bounced off of it. So on the break of 107, we could basically start dropping down towards 102. If not, we run from 115, probably go to 120 and higher. So definitely set your alerts, keep an eye on this one. I do think it's more in favor for a possible pullback, especially after that amazing earnings beat. So overall, let's see what happens today. Typically Friday does have lower volume. We're trying to basically wait and see if this is a double bottom buying opportunity over here. So let's see what happens. I'll see you guys later in the next video. Hopefully you guys all have a green trading day, and I'm out.